Hello, everybody, and welcome to the mid-month O.V.G.C podcast. I believe this is episode 28. If I can start the event, I'm going to. I don't know why it didn't start already, but episode 29. There we go. All right, event has begun. This is the Metal Gear podcast, where we're going to talk about the lore of the Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear series, because it didn't start out as Metal Gear Solid, but that's primarily what Metal Gear is. If you think about it, it's just always Metal Gear Solid. So, but I am as usual. I am Solzane, and with me is for our lore arcanist here is SilentOwl or Sean. Welcome.
Roger that.
So, I have played pretty much. I've played all the mainline Metal Gear games. I believe it's the offshoot ones that I have not played yet. I wouldn't count. I've played Portable Ops and Peace Walker, but I would call them mainline games myself versus actually calling some of the other ones like Babel, like Ghost Babel, or what was some of the side games that are from it.
Metal Gear Acid,
Oh yeah,
or
Acid.
AC, ! D.
Yeah. And then Revengeance, which is a mainline game I have not played yet. But that one doesn't really matter because it takes place after the end of the Metal Gear timeline. So tell us, Sean, your history.
We also have Metal Gear Survive. You ever played that?
I have, unfortunately, played Survive.
Oh.
I bought it secondhand, so I didn't pony up for it proper. So tell us your experience, Sean.
Well, it starts with a demo disc. I believe it was the Jam Pack Winter in 1997. Came with a demo for Metal Gear Solid, and that was a great demo disc. It introduced me to Metal Gear Solid, introduced me to Brave Fencer Musashi, and I believe Final Fantasy VIII might have been on there.
Final Fantasy VIII was kind of on a couple demo discs, wasn't it? I think it was on a Pizza Hut one.
Yeah, and it was on its own Square Enix, or not Square Enix, Squaresoft demo disc that had Bushido Blade on it. That was something I think the official PlayStation magazine had at one time.
Okay, gotcha. So have you've played every Metal Gear game then, Sean?
I have. I've played everything but Metal Gear Survive.
Okay. You're not missing anything.
I've even played the recent Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is the remaster or remake of Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah, tell us about that when we get to that. I want to know what you think of it. I want to know what you think of it after we discuss MGS3. So we are going to start this off going release date wise for the games. So while we do want to discuss the timeline as a whole, we're going to talk about all the games as they've come out, essentially, or at least the majority of them. I'm pretty sure we planned on covering them all, right? That was what the idea was, right? We could try. But for the most part, we're kind of just planning on discussing the ones that really make up the majority of the timeline, right?
Yes. I mean, some side games are pretty interesting in what they do, but we will not be covering Metal Gear Survive.
No, I didn't think so. Are we going to cover Ghost Babel and Acid as well?
I would love to cover Ghost Babel and Acid when we get to them.
All right, cool. Glad to hear it. So, well then, to kick it off, released originally on the MSX2 then, is Metal Gear. So the first game. So tell us, Sean, what do you know about the development of this game at the time? Anything?
So I did not get to play Metal Gear till Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, the subsistence version came out, and included on a bonus disc was the MSX2 Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 that you could play on your PS2. So that was my first time playing them.
Uh-huh.
And playing the original, the MSX2, which I think we also had the Nintendo port of, that you could have played it on the Nintendo. It is interesting on how much it relates to like the movie The Great Escape. It kind of has that sort of feel about going in there rescuing POWs and more about stealth than fighting. But I know due to the limitations of the hardware, they just couldn't have that many soldiers on the screen, which kind of made this sort of gameplay necessary for the game to run.
It's a good game. When it comes to stuff, you can see there's a lot of little things you get through. So I played through it on the NES, password system and all. It's it's not super long if you actually want to like get into it. I beat it, but I had to beat it with a guide because there was a lot of times I was like, I'm missing an item, and I have to go crawl around this entire facility because you can backtrack and go everywhere, and as long as you check everything, you'll eventually kind of come across all the items you need in order to beat the game. The only thing that would have real trouble with, and I think it may be a translation issue, is where to throw grenades at the computer on, because you have to throw the grenades in the correct sequence to destroy the computer at the end of the game in order to fight Big Boss at the end. um, so if we think about this game in terms of timeline wise, our main characters here are Solid Snake. So the main character that we do play as in Metal Gear Solid. Our main villain is Big Boss, which is just a kind of a play on the video game character archetype of a big boss at the end of the game. So that's why he's called Big Boss, right?
Yeah, there's also like the other enemies kind of have like strange names, like Gun Boy is an enemy that you fight,
Yeah, yeah, the Machine Gun Kid or something,
or Machine
right?
Gun Kid.
I believe, yeah. Um, there's a handful of different unique boss like fights and stuff, and I think that was something that was really cool about Metal Gear. You do have codex calls, which is something that Metal Gear has always continued to keep. I don't remember who. I think it's Campbell that's still your codex guy, right? In this, I believe.
There is, I believe it's Campbell. We also have a CIA analyst who's gives you sort of like information about the field and such. He ends up being the uh, character that flips, where you find out it's not him, it's someone else pretending to be him, which becomes a trope in the series where a codec character is not who they seem to be.
Yeah, yeah. You've been double crossed, and it was all a ruse the whole time.
And then you have the scientist in the game who builds the Metal Gear, which I believe the Nintendo version didn't have a Metal Gear. You fought a computer, while the MS2X2 version had a Metal Gear that you fought at the end.
Okay, I didn't know there was a difference between the two. So, so we
Yeah,
still have the origin of the Metal Gear, which could launch a nuke from anywhere. That's always kind of been its thing.
yeah. This one is set in its real world date. This mission is set in 1995, which would have been about 10, I think like 7 or 10 years from when it was released in 1987, I believe is when this game came out. So it was in the far future of 1995.
I love that.
And this is set, I believe, in some fictional country, which I believe will be retconned to be called Zanzibar Land.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's called Zanzibar Land. I believe they do call it that in the NES version.
And this is referred to because he's working for the organization Foxhound. This is referred to as Operation Intrude 9313.
So Snake is essentially like trained to be a super soldier at this point, essentially, right? It's like and they set him up against Big Boss. Like he's the guy to handle the job because he's highly trained. He's it's a stealth sneaky mission. He's the guy. We don't at this point in the origin. It's not known that he's a clone of Big Boss or anything of that nature. So you're really just kind of like Snake's the cool dude, and you fight the Big Boss at the end, basically.
Yeah. This story is kind of basic. I mean, it's going to this fictitious nation. You are the second person sent in. The first person, known as Gray Fox, the best of Foxhound. Maybe perhaps your mentor at one time. You rescue him. You defeat the bad guy. You destroy the Metal Gear, and all is good.
Mm-hmm. So main characters wise, aside from Snake, we have Big Boss, Gray Fox, who you rescue in this one, and then what was it on the codec again?
Have on the codec, you'd have Colonel Campbell. Campbell. I believe it's on the codec.
I'm pretty sure it was Campbell.
And then the doctor who builds the Metal Gear in this game is Dr. Petrovich. Mm-hmm. He's whose daughter is kidnapped. You can also rescue his daughter in the game.
Okay.
The enemies you fight all have very kind of funny names. Like you have the shotgunner, the machine gun kid, mm-hmm. and a fire trooper. And then there is a guy who throws a boomerang, I believe. I can't remember his name. And there might be a few other enemies that have names, but they only show up for like a fight. I believe there's a guy that throws bombs. I'm not sure what his name is.
Bomber. I think there was I think you fight a Hind D as well in this, don't you?
It might be a Hind D, or it might be a guy throwing bombs up on a tower that you go up to. Oh, okay. And then the way to get around, definitely you need a strategy guide, because it has sort of this adventure game kind of logic where like, oh, there's scorpions. If I put the something bait in one corner of the map, then the scorpions will be gone.
Oh,
or just weird adventure game kind of rules about like how to get around.
Mm-hmm. I would say to playing this game, you kind of do have to go back to the idea of like, yes, it's an older game. It can be kind of tough to figure out because you're probably more used to more quality of life stuff. But once you understand it, it's really fun, and I think it would be a good one to go back to. And I do agree that you should play it with a guide, just to kind of really enjoy it, because if you get stuck and frustrated and you're not sure what to do, and you're just constantly going from screen to screen to screen to screen, exploring everything over and over and over again just to try and figure everything out, if you're having a hard time remembering stuff or where to go, you just have to kind of be like, okay, what do I do? Because there's a point in the game where there's an item hidden underneath a truck, and you have to crawl underneath that truck just to get that item, and you wouldn't have known because you don't see it. But a character will tell you about it. They give you hints. There's the
Nintendo box. I know Nintendo released this on the NES, and they probably censored it. I'm sure instead of having a pack of smokes, they probably named it Fog or something else instead of Smokes.
I don't know. Probably.
They will later in a Game Boy Color game that comes out. Yeah. There is a series of fictional novels written in the late 80s called Words of Power. And it's a novel series where somebody was hired by Nintendo to write like young kids novels based on their games. And there is one of this game, Metal Gear, and it takes a lot of liberties and renames a lot of characters And instead of Big Boss, we have General McTaffy is the main villain in the Metal Gear Words of Power novel with his laser scorpions.
That's awesome. So what is
Yeah.
the information? Why do we need to know about this novel?
I just thought it was a funny tidbit of back when Nintendo was like bringing over games and making them family friendly.
Ah, I see what you're saying. Okay, that's pretty interesting to know. So that's kind of really it with Metal Gear. You know, you beat Big Boss, you kill him in this game. He comes back for some reason in Metal Gear 2, which also released on the MSX too, which never came to the United States until the Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence game came out with an English patch or an English translation. So it's our first time getting it, and by then most people probably wouldn't even be interested in checking it out. And we don't even know really what the ramifications are, because unfortunately with us not getting it in the States, we actually miss out on a whole bunch of story beats that take place in Metal Gear Solid that we should know about. So what do you know about Metal Gear Solid 2? Because I've never played Metal Gear Solid, or Metal Gear 2, I mean, and I've never actually bothered to like look a ton of stuff up on it besides the ending, because I don't want like the full gameplay to be spoiled for me, because I do want to go back and play it one day.
Metal Gear 2, it has a lot of firsts that you'll see. Some people theorize that Metal Gear Solid is just a 3D remake of Metal Gear 2, because there's a lot of systems in Metal Gear 2, like the Soliton radar, that are in Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear 2 was Hideo Kojima's answer to, hey, I don't like that Konami made a sequel without me, so I'll make my own sequel. After Metal Gear did good, Konami, with a separate team, made a sequel called Snake's Revenge, which is this horrible like Contra like clone game that is definitely not canon and just turns Snake into basically Rambo and gunning things down on screen. Like they did not understand the assignment of what a Metal Gear game is.
Oh,
And
right.
when Hideo Kojima learned of that, he's like, no, and he made his own sequel.
Yeah, I wonder if their reasoning for hiring out another team to make another sequel is because when they asked him to make one, he wasn't thinking about doing it at the time. You know what I mean? He was probably working on other projects, and they were like, well, we want a sequel to this game because it made money, and we got to do a sequel. We should do a sequel, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, and then
So
kind of drove him to do his own thing, right?
So Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake is what it's called. It starts off with Solid Snake. He's retired from Foxhound after he killed Big Boss in the first game, and they're like, hey, we need you to come back. We got a mission for you. You got to come back.
Okay. They always, every game, they ask him to come out of retirement. Every game. It's like, how much money did they give him to stay in retirement just for them to pull him out and be like, hey, you got to come out of retirement? You know what I mean? It's like every game he gets to retire for a little bit and then he's back into it. Anywho, that's my little rant. He's gonna be pulled out of retirement for every single iteration, just so it's known. Go on. I'm sorry, I diverged on that.
So I should probably look this up, but I think I can remember it because it was such a unique idea. Metal Gear Solid, not Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear 2, I believe, I should look this up, is about a scientist who invents a new type of way of making artificial oil called Oilix. I gotta look this up. Yes. Okay, I'm remembering this right. Yes. Right. So he develops this artificial oil, and it's going to be like the new way of like taking care of our energy problems. Like we don't have to use regular oil anymore. We got artificial oil. But then he gets kidnapped by a mysterious group, taken to Zanzibar land, and later we find out this group goes by the name of Outer Heaven.
Uh-huh.
They are a group of mercenaries who have formed their own nation of mercs, calling themselves Outer Heaven, and their boss is Big Boss.
But Sean, we beat Big Boss in the first game.
Well, he comes back. That's why he's the biggest of bosses.
But he's dead, Sean. Sean, he died.
We
We don't know why he's back. He just is.
so the mission follows you infiltrating Zanzibar Island or Zanzibar Land and infiltrating the base of Outer Heaven to look for the scientist who I believe his name is Dr. Madnar, who came up with Oilix. And later you find out that not only is this scientist have something to do with this Oilix, but he also has something to do with building a new Metal Gear. So there's a new Metal Gear on the base that you have to destroy.
Every time.
Every time.
Every game, there's a new one, a new style.
There's more boss fights in there. Some of them, with kind of random, kind of dumb names. Like there's one where you fight a guy who moves faster than you, and his name is Running Man.
Perfect.
I think there's a few other bosses that are similar to Machine Gun Kid and another guy who has a flamethrower. But there's a unique fight where Snake meets up with an old friend of his, a Gray Fox.
Yes.
And him and Gray Fox, they fight in a room that has hidden landmines.
Yes. So you have a fist fight on a minefield.
On a minefield. And then Snake also defeats Big Boss for the second time. Yep. And to defeat him, you have to combine the items, a lighter and an aerosol can, so that you can make a flamethrower and defeat him with a flamethrower.
Kill him with a flamethrower. His one weakness. You also kill Gray Fox in this game. He dies fighting you in the minefield.
Yep.
He dies. So, but that's kind of hard to kind of believe, because by the end of this, we get our next sequel game, Metal Gear Solid, which comes out directly after this on the PS1. Now it's quite a few years before the game is released. But this is when everything starts to get like super lore heavy. Whereas in Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake, and Metal Gear 1, a lot of it is just kind of interconnected between the two games, and we don't have a whole lot of other concepts kind of working in the background yet. There isn't really anything going on. The Patriots haven't been made up yet until Metal Gear Solid, when you start finding out about that stuff. In these games, a lot of them are relatively self-contained, I would say, in the first two games, right?
I would say Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 are self-contained, but Metal Gear 2 starts something that Hideo Kojima will be known for, is his remarks on geopolitical issues of the time. Yes. Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake, talks a little bit about the it talks about how oil is such a factor in national power that if someone was to come up with a way to make oil artificially, that would make them a new world power. That would change the economy. It would make some nations who stockpile oil, it would make them obsolete. And so it is his way of talking about some geopolitical issues in his games. And sometimes he can predict things, as we see in later games. He sometimes predicts what future problems we're going to have.
Mm-hmm. He's not wrong when it comes to that. And then if I believe the anti-nuclear message, or the anti-nuclear bomb message, has been present since the first Metal Gear game, correct?
I would say the message, I don't think it becomes a big message till Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear 1 and 2, I I don't know. I think they've been retconned to be about nuclear about how much nuclear nukes are out there.
Yeah.
But I don't think at the time he had that sort of message yet when he made Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2.
Yeah. The Metal Gear Solid is really where it becomes a very like anti-war, anti-nuclear armaments message. Like,
So I want to also keep us in a sort of timeline as we're going down this timeline, so we know where we're at compared to current events, because current events happen in this world too with the Metal Gear events as well. So with the first game, we dealt with just destroying Metal Gear, and that was set in 1995. Couple years later, in 1998, we deal with Oilix, and we deal with another Metal Gear, and then now um, we're coming up to.
what were they using the Metal Gear for? Was it just to defend their new potential nation? Correct.
Yeah, I believe the Metal Gear was a deterrent to protect their nation.
Okay.
It would be retcon into being technology to, like we got a nuke, so you can't use a nuke. It'd be like
Right.
a mutual assured destruction kind of deal.
Yeah. That's
Metal Gear Solid, which came out in, I believe, 1998, is actually set in the far future of 2005.
makes sense to me.
Yes. So timeline wise, that would put it 10 years past the first game and 10 years of retirement that Solid Snake's been trying to enjoy, but he gets pulled out of it for a mission. And this is one of my favorite games, Metal Gear Solid. There's it's such a good story. It's a good self-contained story too. I hope if Hollywood is to make a Metal Gear movie, this is the one they do.
I think they could do it in 2 parts, 2 to 3 parts. It'd be kind of neat to see a mini series, if anything.
I'm thinking like Last of Us, 10 episodes.
Oh, there you go. That's a good way to do it.
Amazon
Really
Prime,
good,
come on.
really good wrap up. Yeah, they could do it. Anyways, so the next game in the series is Metal Gear Solid, which is what propelled the rest of the series to fame at this point. So you have Snake coming out of retirement to go find the what was it? They were trying to go find the Metal Gear,
Yeah,
right? They were
I'll
just
help
trying
you.
to find the Metal Gear and have him disable it, right?
Kind of. They don't actually. He doesn't know that the Metal Gear's there yet.
Right.
So he's up in Alaska, enjoying his dogs because I guess he's a musher. That's what he's been doing with his retirement. Apparently, he also is training for the Iditarod, which is like a race up there in Alaska. So what happens is there is a base on that has been secretly training genetically modified soldiers. The United States has been secretly making super soldiers, and they send one of their Black Ops teams, the Foxhound, up there to sort of supervise that the product up there, the super soldiers, some advanced weaponry, just to supervise that. And while Foxhound is there, they decide now's a good time to flip sides and take
That's right.
take hostage everyone there and start making demands. And their main demand is they want the body, the corpse of Big Boss.
Yes, that's right. Okay, that was
And
what I
that
thought
is the
originally.
inciting incident is they want Big Boss.
Yes. Yeah, and then Snake stumbles on to the fact that there's a Metal Gear that could launch nukes there. So that's
Yes.
he essentially stumbles into that fact with was it the DARPA chief that gives him that information, or is
So
it
we
the
have,
other
yes,
one?
Arms Tech and DARPA Chief.
Yeah.
Well, DARPA Chief doesn't give him any information because he can't.
Right. Uh, but the so man, I'm trying to remember which one's which. DARPA chief is the one that Decoy Octopus took over, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's this one I guess we'll cover the story.
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, you as Solid Snake infiltrate the facility called Shadow Moses. It is a top secret arms facility where the U.S. Comes to test and bid on weaponry designed by different defense contracts out there. Um, Arms Tech, a large corporation, think like Stark Enterprise or something, just a weapons manufacturer, they're there to show off some of the new stuff they've made. And one of the newest things they made was they made a large bipedal walking tank that can fire nukes called Metal Gear Rex.
Mm-hmm.
And they're showing it off to sell it to the US. Now, the Foxhound, when they go rogue, they take over everything in the facility.
Mm-hmm.
And they're holding everything hostage. And their demand is we want the body of Big Boss, or we're going to launch a nuke
Right.
somewhere. We got a nuke here because you idiots, for some reason, thought bringing a real nuke would be a great way to test this weapon.
Right. To demonstrate it by launching it harmlessly in the middle of the ocean, right?
Yeah. This is where the villains start actually having backstories, and they got like kind of neat names.
Yep.
And you start kind of like wondering about like what they did before this. I mean, we've got such unique characters as Sniper Wolf. We've got a guy calling himself Snake as well, but he's Liquid Snake.
Yep.
We've
Same
got
code name.
we've got this Russian who thinks himself to be a cowboy and calls himself Revolver Ocelot.
Mm-hmm.
And and Decoy Octopus, which and I guess I
Vulcan
can't forget
Raven. Yes.
Vulcan Raven. That's right, Vulcan Raven. Um, the shaman with a minigun, and Psycho Mantis, a a psychic who can't stand people that he surrounds himself in leather gear and a gas mask because he can't stand people's thoughts.
Yeah, and you beat him by plugging your controller into the second controller port.
Oh
The
yes,
infamous controller port fight thing. So.
Yes, this one becomes more famous about some of the techniques that Hideo Kojima uses in his games. That he likes to use all of the hardware and makes you do interesting things, such as swapping your controller port.
I think that is one of those things that really put this game out there for a lot of people to go, what? You have to do what? Like and it kind of really kind of got people's attention, at the time. So Snake goes through this. You get a lot more backstory um on his old, first off, his master at the time, which, what was his master's name with the glasses?
Mr. Miller.
Miller, yes. Which turns out to be Liquid Snake the whole time, or maybe part of the time. We don't know when that happened, but he was pretending to be him while you're talking to him through codex. So it's a really cool reveal. Colonel Campbell and his daughter Meryl, who you save through this. This is when we meet Otacon, who becomes a main character for Metal Gear Solid 2 with his young sister. And then you have, what was I thinking of? Then Gray Fox shows up again. And at this time, he's turned into a cyborg ninja. Snake finds out it's Gray Fox. He then goes and then Gray Fox basically begs him to kill him after he kind of regains some of his sanity, and then Snake does so, and officially ending Gray Fox. So I can't remember if Gray Fox explains what happened to him or why he's back, but essentially Gray Fox's body was brought back to life, and that's why the Foxhound unit wants Big Boss's body so they can bring him back to life, essentially, through a
Um,
similar program, right?
so Gray Fox, his real name is Frank Yeager. He is not completely dead. Dr. Clark brings him back through cybernetics, turning him into a cyborg ninja. I don't believe he's brought back through any genetic manipulation. Um, the reason they want Big Boss's body is because Liquid Snake and Solid Snake are part of a project called the Les Enfants Terribles. I can't, I'm not speaking good Latin
the
today.
Les Enfants Terribles.
Yes, it's the Terrible Children Project, where they are the basis for early genetic manipulation. They experimented on children and put in them the soldier gene, and out of 8 of them, at this time, we only know that 2 survived, Liquid and Solid. And then to better nurture the ultimate soldier, they took all the dominant traits that would make a good soldier and put them in one person and put all the recessive traits in the other person.
Right. And Liquid Snake knows about this program, and he thinks that Solid Snake is the one with all of the dominant traits, even though
Yes.
it turns out to be the opposite is true. He's the one with the dominant traits, and Solid Snake is the one with the recessive traits. Uh, Turns out it doesn't matter what traits you have. He just became very jealous and vain because of it, which made him feel
Now,
like he was inferior, even though it's not true. He wasn't inferior. He just had recessive traits versus dominant ones.
a Big Boss's corpse would still have genetic material in it that they would use to um, solidify these changes because Liquid knows that they they're sick. Him and the genome soldiers, all the genetic modified super soldiers there on base, they are sick. There's going to come a time when they will die due to the genetic manipulation. So to find a cure for it, they need where they got the genes from. They need the body of Big Boss.
Yeah, they need Big Boss's body. At this time, too, they have nanomachines inside themselves, which I believe the nanomachines are essentially kind of somewhat keeping them like a little healthier because they're kind of assisting a little bit, but for the most part, they're mostly just used to like use special technology and stuff designed around them. Correct?
That you're getting further in the timeline. At this
Oh,
time,
I'm going too far ahead.
are nanomachines at this time are just used as an assist. Like there's nanomachines placed in Snake's body to give him peptides and to help him from getting cold because he's up in Alaska doing this.
Right. But all the
Uh,
Foxhound
there,
unit guys have nanomachines in them.
yes, and there's also there's specific like nanomachines given to the genome soldiers and so that they can use their weaponry because they have safety locks on their weapons that if you don't carry these nanomachines in you then the weapon won't unlock for you to use it.
Are you talking about MGS4?
That will be an MGS4. It's
Yeah.
used as a gameplay sort of
Yeah.
thing in this game.
And that's a different type of nanomachine, and we'll get to that
Yeah.
later on.
Mhm.
So uh
The last thing to talk about, I'd say, with this game is the introduction of a virus called Foxdie.
yes.
It is a genetic virus. It is designed by Naomi Hunter, she's on your Kodak team, and she kind of very secretive about it. She doesn't tell you that you have this, but she injects you with a virus that will kill most of the members of Foxhound just by coming in contact with them because it's designed to go after the individual genetic markers that somebody would have, like kind of like their fingerprint. And it ends up killing quite a few people in the story. It kills the arms tech um, president who you meet. He's one of the hostages.
Mm-hmm.
It kills Decoy Octopus. Um, Foxdie ends up killing Liquid Snake at the end.
Yep. Uh, it doesn't. It doesn't kill Sniper Wolf, and it doesn't kill Revolver Ocelot, and it doesn't kill Vulcan Raven. You kill Vulcan Raven and Sniper Wolf,
Hmm.
and
And I don't believe it kills
it doesn't.
Psycho Mantis.
No, yeah, because you don't touch him. Uh,
But it is theorized by Ocelot and Liquid when they're talking that maybe um, Psycho Mantis and Sniper Wolf aren't affected because uh, Psycho Mantis wears a mask all the time, and so he wasn't really like in personal contact with them. He's pretty much covered in his protective suit, and Sniper Wolf is uh, taking depressants. She's trying to so she's taking a lot of drugs to stay alert and not shake when she's sniping. So maybe those drugs are affecting her getting sick.
mhm. um, so all in all, um, you now know about Snake's origin a little bit more about what's happening with him and what's going on with the projects and stuff that's kind of like taking place in the background. Um, we find out at the end of the game after you beat Metal Gear or destroy Metal Gear, kill Liquid, and escape that Revolver Ocelot, who in your fight with him gets his hand cut off by Gray Fox, which ends the fight. Because you don't kill him, you just the fight ends when Gray Fox cuts his hand off. Um, you find out that Revolver Ocelot has actually been double crossing the hostage situation with the president of the United States of America, who at the time is Solidus from Metal Gear 2. So he was the president. um, which we're gonna jump into in a second. So after Snake saves Meryl and leaves, then he and Otacon technically, even if because there's kind of an alternate ending, right, where you either just get Meryl or Otacon, right, not both at the same time.
Yes,
It
there
was
is actions you can do in the game. Basically, how good you are at button pressing during the torture sequence, whether or not you get Meryl or Otacon rescued at the end.
yeah.
Canonically, it is Otacon that goes with Snake, and Meryl escapes on her own.
Okay, so there you go. So that's the real ending is with you escape with Otacon, because they join together and make a new thing. So, what did they call this mission? By the way, for
For Metal Gear Solid.
yeah,
It doesn't really have
a mission
I
name,
don't think it has a mission name. It will be referred to as the Shadow Moses incident.
right?
But I don't believe it has a mission name.
Okay. So after the events of this, then Snake and Otacon create kind of like an anti Metal Gear unit, essentially. What does they call it? What is their
It's called Philanthropy.
okay, philanthropy. That's right. And
So
what is
this
their whole
game,
shtick? Yes.
their whole stick. Well, at the end of this game, him and Hal Emmerich
Oh yeah.
or Otacon, they uh, they disappear and they hide because they're considered um, terrorists now, and they form Philanthropy, where they want to let the public know what happened, and also basically be a watchdog group for any new Metal Gears that are being made.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, 2 years later, after the Shadow Moses incident, they hear about the United States Navy creating a new Metal Gear, Metal Gear Ray.
Yes.
So they have a mission where Snake is going to infiltrate a large tanker that is in it's in the Manhattan Bay, and he's going to take pictures of the Metal Gear Ray and release it on the web so everyone knows, hey, United States Navy's making this weapon.
Yep. They're making an amphibious Metal Gear missile launch unit. So essentially, it can just launch a missile anywhere. I believe they're trying to determine whether or not it's actually utilized to or is able to be equipped with nukes. I believe they were trying to
So
figure that out, right?
The Metal Gear Ray cannot be equipped with nukes. It is actually
Yeah.
designed as an anti-Metal Gear. So it is the Navy's response to any Metal Gears out there. design this amphibious mech that can destroy other Metal Gears.
Uh-huh. And
But during the tanker mission,
yep.
Snake he runs into some old friends. Revolver Ocelot shows up now with a new arm because the last time we saw him, it got cut off, and his arm looks kind of familiar, maybe brotherly, because it's
Another new friend.
yes, it's he just had Liquid's arm grafted on, and
Because you can just do that.
occasionally he starts speaking like Liquid, like the arms controlling him,
Yeah.
and he makes a deal with the Russians to take Metal Gear Ray. And then after the Russians take the boat, he's like, "Ha ha, suckers!" Deals off and kills the Russians and
Yeah,
sinks the boat.
it sinks the whole boat. Uh, and shortly after this, then we get Metal Gear Solid 2's actual game where you play as Raiden instead of Snake.
You too. So another 2 years later, now we're in 2000.
Oh, and
Uh,
Olga's. We have to
yes,
mention Olga too, the Russian soldier,
yeah,
who
the
just
daughter of the of yes, her dad. He's the general of this Spetsnaz unit, this Russian unit that comes in, and he gets killed by Revolver Ocelot, and Olga survives the tanker.
tells you she had a kid, I believe, at the time. She had just had a
Uh,
kid, right?
yes, she will on the tanker because the tanker takes place in 2007. Now, this game when it was in development, because this game was in development around 2001. During the development of this game, and they were making this game about a stuff happening in New York about terrorism in New York. September 11th happened during the development of this game, and so they kind of changed some scenes, but they originally were going to have a fight on top of the World Trade Center, and when 9/11 happened, they thought, "Oh, that's bad taste. We'll have to change this."
Yeah.
But they were making a game about terrorism in New York, like
Yep.
right when terrorism happened.
Um. So after we finish the tanker incident, we have Metal Gear Solid 2, where it takes place on a another single facility called Big Shell. Raiden
Yes.
infiltrates Big Shell on behalf of the U.S. government. Correct?
So Big Shell is built after the tanker crashed or was sunk. They build the Big Shell facility, and they build it as a way to the clean up the Bay of Manhattan because it could have dropped oil or something, and we got to clean that up. So Big Show is disguised as a facility to clean up and restore nature. But Big Show actually is a secret, like large mainframe of a giant computer AI that controls like everything in the United States.
Yes. It's called Arsenal Gear.
Yes, it will be. It's the new Metal Gear because this game doesn't really have a giant Metal Gear that you fight.
Yeah.
It's actually a giant computer.
Yeah. The facility. Oh, where did that come from?
Yeah,
But yeah. So yes, Arsenal Gear is essentially what it is. It houses all these uh Metal Gear units. Essentially, it's like the launch bay where they go, and it's in the middle of the ocean in um un is it what is it unoccupied ocean territory? Correct.
you talking about Big Show?
Big Shell.
No,
Yeah.
it's in the Bay of Manhattan.
Oh, okay. Wait, really?
Yeah, it's where the tanker sunk.
Oh, it's in that
Um,
same place.
yeah,
Man, I thought for
yes,
sure it was in the
yeah.
ocean.
Snake jumps off the George Washington Bridge onto the tanker,
Right.
and
But
then Sting as its.
I thought Big Shell though was out in the ocean though, wasn't it?
You're thinking of maybe Metal Gear Solid 5 and Peace Walker, where there's a different type of shell you build.
No, I'm thinking of Metal Gear Solid 2, but maybe
Okay.
I'm
Well,
gonna look it up
I
while you.
mean,
I'm gonna look it up.
there is ocean out there. You get far enough from New York, you get to the ocean.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the tanker
It's
is
yeah,
heading
the
out towards
facility
the
is
ocean.
built in the Atlantic Ocean, approximately 30 kilometers off of the coast of Manhattan. So it's in U.S.
Okay.
territory. So okay,
Yeah.
okay. So so it is in the ocean. I wasn't wrong. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was in U.S. territory. That was my mistake.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you follow us a different character, which is quite a twist, because during the promotion for this game, they kept showing Solid Snake. They even showed him in on the Big Show when you're
yeah,
not playing as him,
yeah,
and you play as Raiden. And Raiden is this young guy who was trained to be in Foxhound, but he was trained in a different way. He was trained with VR. So now soldiers this day and age are trained not, they're
not in
trained
real
with
combat.
headsets with virtual reality.
Yeah,
Um, it's just as good as real life.
yeah. Essentially, I mean, it's interesting, but they do that nowadays, basically. So it's
Yeah.
all legit.
So while Metal Gear Solid 1 was Hideo Kojima's message about nuclear, how everyone's got nukes, and that, what are we going to do about that? Just people keep making nukes because everyone has nukes. Metal Gear Solid 2 is his message about the digital age. And as we have this technology now where we can do things digitally, it removes a human element from it. And there's a lot of themes in Metal Gear Solid 2 that deals with how there is no human element anymore. Training is done on a computer now. It takes away the human element of you killed someone, um, or the fact that the boss Arsenal Gear, that it is a computer AI. It's not a human enemy. It's a computer AI calculating everything. This lack of human element.
And they called it GW, correct? This was the one where they
Uh,
called it GW. They were saying GW controls everything or whatever it was.
I don't know what GW stands for. I thought maybe that was the virus that Emma Emmerich makes.
I'm pretty sure GW is the name of the computer in Metal Gear Solid 2, which
It,
is basically supposed to be an acronym for George Washington.
oh, okay. I refer to them as the Patriots,
Yeah.
the AI.
But he's different. The GW system is not the same as the Patriots, though.
Hmm.
Is designed to maintain the Patriots system. Here we go. From the Metal Gear
Okay.
Wiki. So, but yes, they did talk. But GW was brought up in Metal Gear Solid 2. The primary Arsenal Gear AI is GW. Okay. Which was made by the Patriots. So this is when we start getting info about the Patriots. Um, and you also discover that the essentially the role of the president of the United States is essentially like a dummy position. You rescue the president in Big Shell, and he basically confirms that like people don't really have a real choice on it. It's already been chosen. Like everything has been predetermined by the Patriots. Like the Patriots pick and choose everything that happens. Um, Solidus, who was the president at the time, I believe, is trying to essentially subvert this situation, and that's why he, with his crew of other guys, tries to sabotage Big Shell,
So
and
yeah,
and take it over.
his president name was George Sears, and in Metal Gear Solid, he was aware of what Liquid was trying to do, and so he bombed the crap out of Shadow Moses
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the game, even though you took down Liquid Snakes. He wanted to cover up the evidence and cover all that up.
Yeah.
But yes, it is revealed that basically there is an Illuminati that controls our world government, and it's a computer program that does it.
Yes. And it's been around for over a century, I believe. It's
It has
stated.
been around since, well, I think since the 80s. In I think it's been around since the 80s.
Okay. They do say they do use the phrase over a century.
Hmm.
But that could also be like that may also not be true. That could just be force fed. That could just be fed information to make you believe that the original founding fathers of the United States are still alive, which is the direction they do kind of go. I believe Otacon even like goes like the founding fathers, or I believe they try to like play that off essentially as if their brains are being kept alive essentially by technology.
I,
Um,
I think the idea is since you have control of information, you can control what is truth. And there could be a possibility that American history is not accurate, that characters like George Washington aren't real,
yeah.
and that it may have just been created since this system has access to the internet and to all information. It can make it can make up whatever history it needs to.
Right. So really cool getting into the depths. Now it's like trying to be like what's fact, what's fiction, and then you as the player kind of get to kind of try to piece that together in your head whether it's true or not. And it doesn't matter, honestly. You just enjoy the ride that is Metal Gear. Uh so I
Raiden is an important piece of this. As you play as Raiden, not many people like playing as him because they rather play as Solid Snake.
right.
Raiden is a character who is taking commands from the computer program. His codec calls, he's getting talked to by Colonel Campbell and by his girlfriend Rose, but they both are AIs. He's never
Yeah.
he's not talking to real people, and then all of his training has been done through a computer. Everything about him, his background, his well he I mean his background, his training for the mission, his orders and stuff, it's all given to him by a computer. He is a solid snake simulation, really. He is you as a player, if you want to go kind of fourth wall here, you are playing a sort of avatar of you because you are simulating what it's like to be Solid Snake.
Okay. Yeah, basically. That's essentially it, yeah. And so you did say though that the like Campbell and his girlfriend Rose are essentially AIs talking to him. Now they are real people though. But in Metal
They
Gear
are.
Solid 2, you the player have been speaking to them as AIs and he didn't know that. Like everything is fake and he certainly has like a crash out where he doesn't know what's real and what's fake. Then the VR a VR segment of the big shell training area starts to go kind of bonkers. All the VR, uh, all the AI in his head starts to kind of lose touch with him for some reason. I forget what caused the AI to have a what caused the AI to wig out on Raiden towards the end of the game.
So they rescue a scientist, Emma Emmerich,
Right.
and she designs a virus to disable GW.
Oh
And
yes.
because of that, it starts wigging out.
Yep.
And sort of like a metaphor, when all the computer simulations go away and we start seeing what it really looks like, Raiden is also stripped of his gear. So his facade has been stripped away. He no longer looks like a Solid Snake character. He's not wearing the infiltration suit. He's not being given orders like Solid Snake. And funny enough, you get to play a segment of the game as a naked Raiden sneaking around.
Mm-hmm. And you you then get your stealth suit at this point, and
Yes.
you get the sword that he gets popular with. Um, the the end of this is basically like so. Aside from out of the four characters you fight in there, there's Fat Man, there's Lady Luck, there's Vamp, and then uh, Is it Solidus is the other one? You just fight him on the hind, right?
So her name is Fortune.
Fortune. That's right. Fortune.
Fortune. Um, so you're talking about Dead Cell. So
Dead Cell.
Dead
That's
Cell
right.
is
Okay.
another. So
Um,
Dead Cell is a
I didn't.
counter. It's a counter. It's not a counter terrorist group this time.
Right.
Dead Cell is designed as a counter, um, like internal terrorism group. They're designed to go around and weed out any suspected military, like any groups in the military that might be planning on a coup. They're like an anti-coup unit. A little different than Foxhound.
Hmm.
But their unit, it gets decided that their unit's the one that's going to pull a coup, and so the military, the United States military, dissolves their group, and they they decide to take over Big Show later.
Right. Um, with Solidus leading the charge. Um, they all die except
Yes,
for Vamp, who we think dies. Um, he ends up killing Emma uh, after the virus has already been released.
but the fun thing about Dead Cell is they are created to be like Foxhound through manipulation. Each one of them have been secretly given some type of genetic manipulation or something to do with technology to give them sort of some kind of sad backstory or some unnatural power, but it can all be explained by science and technology. They
Yes.
just don't know that they've been duped, such as Fortune being given a magnetic field where she thinks that she's bad luck, and that's why bullets can't hit her, when it's actually some piece of technology has been planted on her that creates a magnetic field that prevents bullets from hitting her.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty wild fight. Trying to figure all
And
that
then
out too.
Vamp's given nanomachines without him knowing that
Yeah.
give him his sort of supernatural abilities. Fat
Right.
Man is not altered in any way. He's just a jealous big boy who just didn't like that no one recognized his brilliance.
To
And
create bombs. Yeah. I would
yeah, he.
disagree. I think he got nanomachines that made him really good at roller skating.
Oh, okay, okay. He got skater jeans.
Yeah, that's right. Um, Speaking of skating, really offside thing, in one of the Tony Hawk games, you can play on Big Shell as Spider-Man with a skateboard, I believe.
I believe it's included in
Is
the
it in
substance.
Metal Gear? Yeah. Is it in
It's
Metal
a Metal
Gear or
Gear
is it okay?
Solid 2 Substance. There's a skateboarding
Is
minigame
it
on
yeah.
Big Show.
Yeah, it's just the Tony Hawk game basically
Yeah.
and yeah. I thought I remember there I being a Spider-Man costume of some sort though for some reason. Um
I mean, Pro
Anyways,
Skater 2's got Spider-Man.
okay. See, I thought it was in Pro Skater though, but that's no big deal. Anyways,
Mhm.
so you eliminate Dead Cell, save for Vamp, who does make a return later on. Emma gets killed by Vamp. He for some reason thinks he's a vampire because of the nanomachines that are essentially infinitely reviving him. Uh, uh,
That if there's a different reason he's named Vamp, but yeah, it's more implied that he's a vampire.
yeah, yeah, essentially. And Raiden defeats Solidus in the middle of New York, where they fight on the top of Metal Gear Ray, I believe.
They
Uh,
fight on top of Arsenal Gear.
Arsenal Gear. Okay, they fight on top of Arsenal Gear in the middle of New York City.
Yep.
Uh, um, you beat
It
Solidus.
crashes. Yeah.
You beat Solidus, and then Jack is basically like Jack, which is Raiden's real name, is basically like finally in contact with Rose, who I believe like she admits to knowing about everything that was going on with
Yes.
him,
Rose
and
was a she was an agent of the
yes,
Patriots.
yes,
She did everything she could. Like she changed her hair,
yeah,
even changed her eye color
to
to look like
everything
everything to look like what would be the perfect girlfriend for
for
Jack
Jack.
because
Yep.
it's part of Arsenal Gear controlling everything about him. But then she's like, I did all that, but I actually fell in love with you.
Yeah, yeah. It's like he's so yeah, she's like, I really do love you, Jack. And he's just having a total crash out because he doesn't know what's real anymore.
Yep.
Because even his relationship was fabricated. And she's trying desperately to get him to understand that she does care for him, which she does eventually prove that in MGS4, where they do have another talk about it, essentially revealing that she's basically gave up everything to take care of him. So even
Uh,
during his cyborg ninja stuff that eventually occurs.
well, it's important for him to pick up that sword because it's a weapon that Snake did not use.
Yep.
So in a way, he has now become himself, have his own identity. And then at the end of the game, the last scene is Raiden pulling his dog tags off and throwing them. And the game had you name your save file in the beginning of the game, and the name on the dog tags will be whatever you put in for your name on that save file. He
Right.
has thrown. So, in a meta way, not only has he found his own identity, he has thrown away you, the player, from controlling him. He's thrown you away. He's no longer to be controlled, and that's the ending of MGS2.
That's which is pretty cool. Side really quick other note: Solidus, who is the main villain in MGS2, is also a clone in from the Les Enfants Terribles project,
Yes.
and he is the perfect version of Big Boss, genetically. So he's the perfect one out of the three of them. So technically, he's Solid Snake's brother, and genetically, but otherwise, would that make Big Boss his brother? No, he's not because they were born. I believe Solidus was born in a lab, correct?
So Solidus was born um, and also accelerated aging, which is why he looks
Yes.
older than Liquid and Solid.
Yeah.
And and then uh, he was considered sort of a failure. So the Patriot, the AI, decided just to make him the president.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, they just decided to do that with him because he's the perfect guy. He's the good candidate for it. So, um, but yeah. So they kill him, and that's pretty much it. Solidus never returns. There's never a comeback for that. That's kind of the end of his little thing because once he was done with, he tried to make his comeback, and then he couldn't. He failed. Raiden essentially put him down. Uh,
And
then we have Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
yes, but before that,
Oh,
we're going to have the Metal Gear Solid Ghost Babel
oh yeah.
come
Okay, I thought that's
Game
where
Boy.
you were going with that.
Yep. So I want to talk about Ghost Babel.
Go for it.
It's on the Game Boy Color. I love this game, and it is like if you took the MSX games, but like made them like modern, like little better gameplay, make a little more sense. Give it the Metal Gear Solid type story. I mean, it's really good. Recommend it. I think it's one of the games you're playing for classic gaming, or it's one of the
I
choices.
made a recommendation of it. It did not get
Mm.
picked.
Oh, okay. So Ghost Babel, which is what it's called in like Europe and Japan. In the US, it's just called Metal Gear Solid, which is kind of confusing because
Yeah.
it's on the Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
It is an alternate history where instead of Snake going to Shadow Moses, instead of that happening, Ghost Babel happens instead. It's a similar situation where a counter-terrorist group called Black Chambers, kind of like Foxhound, they they're sent to quell an uprising in a fictitious African country. And instead of quelling that rebellion there, they join it. And then part of their demands is we want Big Boss's body.
Okay.
And you're pulled out of retirement and you go to this African nation to defeat Black Chamber. And then they happen to have their own Metal Gear, and you got to destroy Metal Gear.
So basically, the same
Um,
plot for Metal Gear Solid.
it is the same plot as Metal Gear Solid, basically, but it's got some good, unique characters in it. Um, there is instead of Meryl, you run into a survivor of Delta Force. Jenner is her name, and you work with her, kind of like how you worked with Meryl in Metal Gear Solid. The Black Chamber group is made up of basically ex-convicts who then like were forced into military service. And so like not something we see today, but there was a time when a criminal may have a choice of instead of serving time in jail, they could just join military service. And Black Chamber is made up of those kind of criminals.
Okay.
And there's this one that's really creepy that I would love to see an interpretation of them. Marionette Owl.
Okay.
It is a
Wait,
the
isn't
expert of nocturnal fighting.
isn't that
And
in Metal Gear 4?
no, there's something kind of like it, but Marionette Owl is a they came home one night and their like wife was killed, and then
Oh,
that
okay.
like memory of that turned them into because of that trauma turned them into someone who does that as well.
Just
And then they yeah, it's there's some interesting characters in that. But yeah, it's surprisingly pretty neat how well it uh transfers the gameplay into 2D. But yeah, I recommend Ghost Babel.
all right. Yeah, I want to play it. Oh, look
Hmm.
at that. Look at those
Oh, there's
guys.
the Black Chamber group.
Creepy.
Yeah,
I think that's cool. There's
it's really
cutscenes.
good art though.
Yeah, it is. The sprite work looks nice.
What I like is the artwork definitely um, simulates the original concept artwork that you see. If you look at any of the production artwork, it's got the similar kind of style.
Uh-huh. I'm kind of scrubbing
We also
around to see.
we also had around this time we had the graphic novels come out, which are drawn by Ashley Wood. We have a graphic novel series, I believe, was released by Dark Horse of Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2. And so, if you don't want to play those games, I do recommend the graphic novels, which there are now digital versions of, where you can just read the story of Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 in comic form.
I might pick those up just to pick them up.
They are included in the Metal Gear Master Collection. If you pick up the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, not only do you get the first three games, plus the two MSX games, you also get the digital graphic novels.
Nice. That's excellent.
Yep.
Glad to hear it.
Hmm.
Uh,
I'm looking forward to Volume 2 of the Master Collection because
uh
it's going to include Ghost Babel.
oh, no way. Okay.
Comes out this August. You'll get Metal Gear Solid 4, Peace
Shoot.
Walker, and Ghost Babel.
Dude.
Why
Nice.
not the PSP games, though?
I don't know. Maybe Metal Gear Solid 4 is just too big.
Yep. Um, continuing, we have to go
Go back in
back to the
time.
past. We gotta go back. We don't go forward. In fact, as a young me playing Metal Gear Solid 2 and then finding out Metal Gear Solid 3 came out, I was like, what happened at the end of Metal Gear Solid 2 though?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we gotta go back. We gotta go to the 60s. So to explain the 60s era, I first have to tell you about a major event that happened in our history, real history. 1962 was the Cuban Missile Crisis. At this time, we had John F. Kennedy as a president, and we were very scared about what the Soviets were going to do,
Right.
what those nasty Russians were going to do. We had the Red Scare going on. I mean, we were racing to the moon to make sure we didn't have a red moon. We wanted to be first on the moon, and Cuba, uh, they were allowing uh, Soviets to possibly build a missile site on Cuba, and we formed a blockade to prevent any Soviet ships from getting to Cuba. Now, we weren't friends with Cuba either, but we did not want Soviets that close to the United States
Yep.
with missiles on Cuba. And that was the Cuban Missile Crisis. It was a big deal. It was probably going to be World War III at that time. A lot of people thought we were going to war. So, in that sort of atmosphere, what is referred to as the Cold War, and we kind of still are in the Cold War, we now have the story of a brand new character to us, codenamed Naked Snake. In 1964, you are tasked as part of a new formally made unit being called Fox Unit, later to be named Foxhound.
Yep.
The Fox Unit, you are to help with, at the time in history, we called it Operation Paperclip. You're to help extract a Soviet scientist to the United States so they can um, give the information they have to us in the United States and work for us. This was happening in real life in history where after World War II, a lot of Soviet scientists were coming over to the United States, given amnesty and working for us. It was called Operation Paperclip. And during this mission to go get Sokolov, the scientist who wants to defect, we get attacked, and we get attacked by none other than our mentor, a woman known as the Mother of Special Forces, goes by the code name The Boss. Our mentor, um, almost you could say our mother in a way. She defects to the Soviet Union, captures Sokolov, and gives a present to the Soviets, a Davy Crockett, which is sort of like a mini handheld nuke launcher.
Yep.
Kind of reminds me of Fallout with the Fat Boy you could
Yeah, the
get.
Fat Boy launcher. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, kind of reminds of that. And because of her actions, she is deemed a traitor.
Yep.
And because of that nuke being fired off that thing, it causes friction between groups within the Soviet Union. That at the time, the Soviet president calls the United States and says, "Hey, I just heard that you guys tried to steal one of our scientists. I've also heard that you guys gave one of my rivals a nuke and they fired it. And it kind of makes me look weak that this
Right.
happened. So you guys need to fix this, or, we might just go to war or something."
So yeah, so she launched. So she gives the nuke to the Russians. Basically, the
Yes.
kidnap. They take back Sokolov, who was trying to defect. They essentially imprison him, right?
Yep.
And in the same moment, Colonel Volgan takes the Davy Crockett and fires it off because he's freaking nuts.
Yes. He's
And
nuts.
so that really wasn't part of the plan because
It wasn't.
she was trying to get in on the inside. She was the United States inside girl. She could get in and pretend that she was defected and all this stuff like that, and so she had to go along with it. And because it was fired off, they knew that she had the Davy Crockett, that she had essentially commandeered it to give as a gift. So they had assumed that she fired it. And so the United States was saying, hey, we didn't do this. And Russia was trying to say, well, we think you did. So now you need to go kill the boss to prove that you don't act that, that this, that you actually have, you aren't the one who did this. Essentially, you'll kill the agent that did it by,
Prove your
and
innocence.
prove your innocence. Yes. Thank you.
So, yes, the boss was playing, was doing a mission. She's been working for the CIA, and her mission was to get close to Colonel Volgan and to find out where this latest weapon, the Shagohod, which is basically proto Metal Gear, where it is. And for her to get close to him, she had to scrub Naked Snake's mission, Jack's mission. She had to scrub his mission to show that she was switching sides, and the Davy Crockett was a gift. She did not expect it to be used, but it was a gift, and it was her way of getting in favor of Colonel Volgan. It was part of her mission from the CIA, but because it went so bad, now her new mission is to die.
Yep. But she needs to
And
make
this
it seem like she is on their side still, essentially. So she
so
has to
now she
keep
has to
fighting you.
Yes, she has to die for her country.
Uh,
Her allegiance never changed. She was just serving the mission. She has to die for her country.
along
And
with her unit, her entire unit.
yes, her Cobra unit, which is they are a unit of soldiers that she fought with in World War II who have gained sort of supernatural abilities during during their time in World War II.
Hmm. And really,
Um,
her unit didn't have to do that, but they owed her such loyalty and
yes.
allegiance that they chose to do it. Like they were like, if
But
she's going to die, we're going to die too. And
so yeah, I don't want to discuss too much of the story of MGS3 because it is fairly new to some players thanks to Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is it's a perfect way of playing the game. I will say that at first I didn't want to play Delta because I knew it was made without Kojima's blessings,
yeah,
but it is nothing more than just a modernized high res version. They did not re record voices, they did not change anything. The scenes are the same, they
hmm,
just look better because of better textures, better graphics.
right.
Um, you can play Delta
Unlike what they did to Metal Gear Solid Twin
with Twin
Snakes
Snakes.
with the
Yeah,
GameCube, where they basically rebuilt Metal Gear Solid 1 from the ground up
they did.
using the Metal Gear Solid 2 style of gameplay. And it's great. It's beautiful and it's a lovely game, but if you really want to play the classic on the PS1, it just feels totally different. Um
The classic also they re-recorded lines for Twin Snakes, and I prefer the original delivery. And I also prefer some of the original voice actors, like Jennifer Hale as Dr.
uh
Naomi Hunter. I
yeah.
think she does a better job than her replacement on Twin Snakes.
Yeah. Yeah. Um so, what else do we want to say about Metal Gear Solid 3?
I guess going with the themes again, because there's now themes when we come to solid games. The theme of MGS3 um, is more about how the times can change. So like who's your friend today could be your enemy tomorrow based on the times. And also true allegiance or loyalty to your country means sacrificing yourself is kind of the message that the boss gives. It's very sad that the main plot of this story is just the relationship between you. Your name is Jack. You have the code name Naked Snake, and the operation is called Snake Eater because you need to destroy the Cobra unit
Yep.
and also kill your boss.
Yep.
Um, at the end of the game, the final scene is since you defeated the boss, the CIA say we will reward you with a new name. You are now called the Big Boss,
Yep.
and that is the reveal that you have been playing.
Yes.
Basically, you've been playing an Anakin Skywalker story. You've been playing the Darth Vader story.
Hmm.
You've been playing the prequel to the Metal Gear franchise. You've been playing as the Big Boss.
The whole time, which is interesting to think about because you go through this whole game and he's a good guy. He's the good guy. So what makes him the bad guy in the other games? And we'll kind of find out that there really aren't any bad guys, just guys who are on the wrong side. or,
I
or
change.
a different side, yeah, or a side that's winning, versus a side that's losing, you know. um and you so Colonel Volgin is your main antagonist in this, and you fight him and beat him in the end. um he does he does not actually die in this game. He comes back uh in MGS5. um
No, he okay,
isn't he the flaming
MGS5,
man in MGS5?
but he is dead. He's like a
Okay.
spirit. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He's dead.
I guess I didn't get that. I only played through MGS5 one time, and it's been a while.
Played twice. I've played
I'm gonna
it
have to
on
play through it again.
I 100% it on PC and 100% it on PS3 when it
Oh
first came
wow,
out.
is it on 3? I thought it was.
Yeah, it came out on PS3, I believe. And then or maybe it was PS3, and then PS4 was the Definite edition.
Oh, okay, interesting. I'll have to double check because I think I have it on the 360. Yeah, so it would have been PS3 era. That's crazy.
Yep.
Well, that falls into our bi-monthly category, which is great to know.
Um,
um,
let's talk about the little tiny device I love, the PSP.
yes, let's take a jump.
I love the PSP. Man, Sony, you did a good job with the PSP.
I do
I
too.
don't know why you screwed it up with the Vita, but PSP was great.
I just met somebody the other day who's like told me that the PS Vita was like the most definitive handheld they'd ever played, and I was like, you are
I,
you
I
have not
tried. I
played other handhelds, have you?
tried to support the crap out of the Vita. That proprietary memory. What a stupid idea.
Yeah. Are we jumping into Peace Walker? Then is that what you were talking
Peace
about?
Walker and PSP offshoots,
Yes.
but Portable Ops is first.
Oh, Portable Ops is first. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll pull up.
Okay.
Well, yes, it is. There's two Portable Ops games, technically.
Only
One
one
though
has
is
story.
yeah, one's an expansion on the multiplayer stuff.
Yes. So Portable Ops takes place in 1970, and Portable Ops was not written by Hideo Kojima, but he does love it. He thinks it's great. And Portable Ops follows our character Naked Snake, who's Big Boss now,
Yeah.
and he gets captured and sent to a prison complex in Central America, and he's captured by the newly formed Foxhound unit because they want to question him about what do you know about the boss's legacy? And he's like, the what? The boss's legacy. See, we know about something called the philosopher's legacy. We know about there's a secret group of people that control the the world government, and that there's this huge amount of money that they hid when they founded the nation, and we want that money.
Mm-hmm. So, this one now there is some kind of relevance to what's going on in it. To like later on, believe stuff is brought up in Peace Walker and MGS5 that comes off of Portable Ops. Correct? A little bit.
It is kind of canonical, but not.
Okay.
So this is sort of a Metal Gear Solid. This is a Metal Gear story that wants to like tell origins of characters, and we really don't need it. But in this story, we meet our fellow prisoner in the beginning of the game is Roy Campbell, and so this is speculated that this is the first time we meet Roy Campbell and become friends with him. And we also meet the new Fox unit that took over after we retired, and we meet different soldiers that are part of that Fox unit. We meet a guy named Gene, who apparently has been trained to be the perfect leader. He has an ability with his voice to command soldiers to follow his orders. And we also meet we meet a psychic woman who has a premonition that in the future our kids will fight, a premonition about Liquid and Solid Snake.
Yes. And thankfully, I believe this is the last game where psychic powers kind of mean anything.
Uh,
Essentially, right?
I don't think it's the last game with psychic powers. There's definitely some psychic powers in MGS5
Okay.
and MGS4. Um, so it the thing you can take away from the story is that this is about Snake or Jack or Big Boss basically becoming more sympathetic to soldiers than he is to nations.
Yeah.
And he becomes sympathetic to how the everyday grunts treated and how these different people of power just come in and tell you what to do. And he would rather create a place for these soldiers to be able to just like make their own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of solidifies his idea of creating an outer heaven, which we know he does because that's what happens in Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2. I like the artwork. It's Ashley Wood. He just got done doing the comic books for Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. Konami liked it. They asked him to do cutscenes for the PSP games because they like his art style. and so he provided the artwork for the cutscenes.
They so yes, aside from that, the main villain is who again in this one? Hot is
Uh,
it like Hot Cold Man or something like that, or
no, it's Gene.
it's
His name's
Gene?
Gene.
Okay, okay. Which one's
Yeah,
Hot
G
Cold Man?
E N E. Gene, and he's got his own. He's like the head of the Fox unit at the
Uh-huh.
time,
Uh-huh.
or Fox, whatever the unit's called.
It's Fox. It's the Fox unit,
I
yes.
think it's Fox. Yeah, and yeah, and he's got his own little ragtag of not many different soldiers. There's a guy. There's another guy. I don't think his name's Snake. It's some kind of snake name. And, oh, Python. That's his name. There's a guy named Python who served. He served in like World War II, World War II or something, with with Big Boss, and got hurt that they had to regulate his body heat. So now he's basically Mr. Freeze. He's got like freeze suit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's I would not play this game because the PSP, the controls on it weren't really like built for a 3D game.
It's
And
tough.
when they made the game, they didn't really like do a good job with the control layout. It's very difficult to control. If you're interested in the story, just watch the cutscenes. Don't play the game, just watch the cutscenes.
Yeah, yeah, you don't really even need to play the game. It's just gameplay that gets you from one story beat to the next. So yeah, you could
Yeah.
literally just watch all the cutscenes and that would be the whole game. There's nothing in
It,
between that really makes you learn anything else. Um,
no, it
it's
I
just
also
recruiting soldiers. You just recruit soldiers, throw them in the back of a truck, you kidnap them, they join you after a while.
but
That's kind
not
of
the
how it
fun
goes.
way. There was no full-time
No,
recovery system in this game.
that didn't come
You had
until
to pick
Peace
up and
Walker.
drag them. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Peace really fixed a lot of the stuff that Portable Ops did, and it made a lot of the gameplay maps and stuff like that like really fun, and the
Hmm.
combat was much better and well put together. Uh, you could it, man, it's been a minute, but I believe you could hold down but certain buttons would pull up a secondary weapon or a knife or whatever it was, and then do CQC with a weapon versus having
Yes.
to swap or drop or unequip stuff. And I believe in this game you had to just equip and unequip everything.
Yeah.
Um, and then added the Fulton recovery system. So instead of dragging guys all the way back to a truck to recruit them, you'd attach a balloon to them and they'd shoot in the air. So let's talk about Peace Walker then, because since
So
Portable Ops
Peace
doesn't
Walker,
really matter too much.
no. So Peace Walker pretty much has a similar reason to its story to get Big Boss from point A to B. How do we get him from hero of MGS3 to villain of Metal Gear? How do we do that? Well, we do Peace Walker. And Peace Walker was directed by Hideo Kojima. And he saw what they did with Portable Ops. He did not have a hand in that. And he's like, I like that, but this is how you should do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he made Peace Walker. He took some of those ideas, he liked it, and he made it. Um, and Peace Walker follows the story of Big Boss. He is now a private merc company. He has soldiers that have come to him from various nations, and they've just joined up with him because they believe in his ideal, a just a private military force that does what it wants, not being told by nations what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just doing his thing, training his guys, and a little girl from Cuba comes to talk to him with her teacher, who happens to be from the Soviet Union,
Yeah.
and they come and say, "Hey, you know, like how the Cuban Missile Crisis happened, and they didn't get and they tried to get missiles on Cuba. Well, that was a ploy. They got soldiers on Cuba, and they got something else on Cuba, but they never got the missiles the United States thought they won, but they didn't. Cuba has been invaded. It has it has a Soviet presence and experimental weapons."
Mm-hmm.
And Snake's like, I don't care. I'm sick and tired of destroying tanks. They're like, okay, well, we recorded one and we want you to listen to it. And they play a recording, And on that recording, he hears an AI voice say his name, Jack, where are you? And it's said in the voice of the boss.
Yes.
And that is the inciting incident for Peace Walker. He goes to Cuba to find out, why do these machines sound like my mentor, the boss?
Yeah, because the idea that she's still alive suddenly starts to play in his head, and he's just like, "It's not possible. What's happening?" So,
Yep.
and essentially, they've much like for what happens to him later on, where they use his genome to create Snake and Liquid and Solidus and stuff. They're essentially doing the same thing to the boss, his mentor, and using her like her like mental imprint and stuff like that to try and create these super AI versions of weapons, basically.
Yes, he basically goes to Cuba to put her to rest, and to he doesn't like the fact that they're using parts of her. That
Yes.
to him that's inhuman.
Yes. Yes. And one quick thing we did kind of forget to touch on was Adam and Eve in Metal Gear 3, of who Adam is and the origins of Ocelot, and then him being a CIA agent as well, also double crossing in the Ocelot unit and stuff, and then Eve
Yes.
being uh, the one who was supposed to meet Adam out there, and then she meets Snake instead, and they are not just instead, but like she's a spy, and she inevitably falls in love with the boss at that point. Uh,
So you're speaking of Adam and Eve, but which are the code names of the um two agents that are embedded in the Soviet Union. And Snake is supposed to make contact with them in MGS3, and instead he makes contact with Eva. Eva is pretending to be one of those two agents, but she's not.
yeah.
She's actually a she's an agent for China, and that she's spying for China.
Mm-hmm.
But she does fall for Snake, and in the end, even though she does steal the Metal Gear data for China, she doesn't kill Snake in the end because she fell for him.
Yeah. And then that leads into her volunteering for the Genome Project as the mother
Yeah.
Solid Snake and Liquid Snake. So I just wanted to touch on that because while it's not important to MGS4, she does show up in MGS4, but there isn't any reason to bring it up. It's just kind of like a full circle moment with her. So
I'm actually, I think we should skip MGS4 and just go to MGS5.
yeah, we can just do that right now. I think we should wrap up with 4 a little
Yeah,
bit.
because I feel like we're already on the way to 5. Might as well just finish off the big boss story.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so we got Peace Walker. At the end of Peace Walker, he, while with his operation in Cuba, he has to build up a facility. He gets an old oil rig that he can build platforms on and to form a base. This will be his outer heaven, and this will be his way of building up a military force. Before calling it outer heaven, it's called the Militaires Sans Frontières, or Soldiers Without Borders.
Right.
And so he's built up his private military force.
What about
And at the end,
this
throughout the
game?
game, yeah, through Peace Walker. And by the time we get to the next game, which is split in 2 parts, because Konami liked money, so they split the game into 2 parts. When we get to Metal Gear Solid 5,
Mm-hmm.
when we get to Ground Zero and Phantom Pain, he is now a rival military power to a lot of nations. They kind of fear him.
Yep.
In Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zero, he is on a mission um,
Rescue Paz.
to to rescue Paz, who is a someone that he recruited in Cuba, um,
The young
and
girl that came in
and
with Miller in Peace Walker. Just so we're clear, because we
not
didn't
just
cover that.
Paz. There's yeah, and so he's going there to rescue her, and she is stored. She is at this facility that is modeled very much after Gitmo. It is a United States detention center that is in Middle America, so it's not legally in the United States. So they can do some really bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he does rescue Paz, and it's a very short game, Ground Zeroes. You could probably do it in about an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah.
He does rescue Paz, but the end of it is Paz has been implanted with a bomb, and it goes off mid-flight as they're escaping in a helicopter. And while this is going on, the base that they've been building since Peace Walker is attacked by a anti-Fox unit, XOF, and they attack which it's basically a CIA made unit to just, and this whole plan was to destroy Outer Heaven, to destroy this private military force. And that is what happens in Ground Zeroes. Go to Phantom Pain, which
Well,
takes place.
the end of Ground Zeroes, your
Yeah,
helicopter blows up because they put a bomb inside Paz and they
they
have to
did.
do immediate surgery. You, Paz, and the surgeon on the airplane
Yes, the
explode.
paramedic.
Yes,
Yep.
explode. That's the end of Ground Zeroes. So, and it makes it seem as if your like Snake is dead at that point. Like so.
Um,
Then Phantom Pain begins.
yes. So Ground Zeroes takes place in 1975, which is about 10 years after Metal Gear Solid 3. So for about 10 years, Big Boss has been raising an army, going through this stuff. This happens.
Yep.
Um, then we enter Phantom Pain, which is another 10-year jump to not well, about 9-year jump to 1984 is when Phantom Pain takes place. So 9 years after Ground Zeroes. You don't even know what's going on as a player because you play as a character that's in a hospital bed who wakes up and they're being told that they're Big Boss. And that game has you working towards finding missing members of Outer Heaven, such as Kaz Miller. That's one of your first missions. Finding the missing soldiers who are currently involved in the Soviet-Afghan war. So you go to Afghanistan to get them back. And then the story evolves into you dealing with that opposing force, that XOF unit that is in Afghanistan, and dealing with them and with the possible new Metal Gear. It's hard to talk about the story too much because it wasn't finished.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately, this is around the time that Konami fired Hideo Kojima and released the game unfinished.
Right.
So we never got a conclusion to the game.
Yeah.
But the theory is that this game would have shown Big Boss becoming that villain that would be in Metal Gear. The big reveal of the game, though, is that you're not playing as Big Boss. You're playing as the medic who who
They
opted into surgery
yeah.
to have his face and everything altered to look like Big Boss, to be a body double for him, while Big Boss worked in the shadows. I believe the theory is that Big Boss in the shadows was going to figure out a way to take down the Patriots.
Right. And which is essentially like, his entire plan. And predetermined or otherwise by everything. Uh you essentially halt a lot of what's going on with the Patriots and become like the thorn in their side at this point. Um, your character becomes Venom Snake in this game. You're missing your arm or whatever it is. You get a fake arm put on later on and whatnot. Everybody treats you like Big Boss and all that stuff. Um, so now it's official canon that there's essentially two guys that look like Big Boss. Um, and using that information, we now know that Big Boss in the first Metal Gear game was Venom Snake, who was killed by Solid Snake, which is why Big Boss, the real Big Boss, comes back in Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. So this is kind of a little full circle moment with the character development there, and why you don't see Venom Snake in other Metal Gear games like Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear Solid 4, which we can talk about. I don't really want to talk like a ton about Metal Gear Solid 5, just because there's so much content in it. But and we'll kind of like do the same with Metal Gear Solid 4. I think we'll just kind of briefly touch on the high notes with it, and I think we can call that good about
I,
that one too.
I I think Metal Gear Solid 4. I'm sorry, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. I think it never got completed, so I don't know what the final vision was. But I think the vision was about the a culmination of pain. I think this character, Big Boss, and then now playing as Venom Snake, I think we're supposed to look at all the pain is a reason why they may have done what they did as a villain. It's all the pain. It just eventually it just accumulated to what happened in Metal Gear.
Yeah. Uh, and even though we didn't, even though the game didn't really get finished, there was a bit of like storyline wrap up stuff they did with Paz in this game that kind of like concluded a lot of the stuff that Hideo Kojima was like going for. The unfortunate thing is we didn't get like a lot of closure for a lot of other elements in the series as well that they were kind of trying to wrap up, which we don't even know what they were, but you can kind of tell when you play it. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of feels a little empty, but they did a lot of callbacks and touches on all the other games previous to this, like MGS3 and Peace Walker. So
It was less baked. I mean, there was like something there seemed to be like they want to make a theme about the power of language, and that it's like they
oh
didn't
yeah,
finish that. They didn't refine that with the vocal parasite.
yeah.
I mean, it happens, but it felt like there should have been more scenes.
Yeah. I agree. There's definitely a lot with that they didn't like bring up or get to like kind of discuss. Um, Whereas the character Quiet is like she's essentially quiet because she's infected and doesn't want to spread it.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, but I also know during this time that Hideo Kojima, he had his hands in too many things. Like at this time, he was also working on a Silent Hill game,
oh yeah.
and I have a feeling they just caught him with his hand in too many jars. They're like, "All right, that's it. Get out.
Yeah, I think he
You
was
got too
just
many plates spinning."
he was doing way too much. The guy loves to push everything to its limits, and
Yeah,
he was essentially going off the rails a little too much, and was just taking he was for Konami's development time. He was taking way too long, and they were set. They people were the corporation was freaking out. They were like, "This is taking too long. This is costing us too much money. There's no way we're going to recover this financially." I can understand why they pushed him out with it. It's a shame they fired him instead of forced him to wrap up differently, but I think they gave him a lot of time, and you can kind of see with how things develop with Death Stranding that like he really likes to take his time with stuff, and unfortunately that's kind of a lesson that he kind of has to learn on his own when it comes to
I'm
stuff.
gonna be honest. This is my. I think he's doing it again with Sony. So
Yeah,
like after Death Stranding 2's done, he's announced like what, 3 projects now?
yeah,
Like he's got OD, he's
yeah.
got
OD.
physics, and then some other thing he's working on. And it's like, dude, you can't do three at once, man. Don't do it.
He's just getting way too in the weeds, and I think it's gonna come back to haunt him, and he's gonna kind of, I hate to say it, but I think Kojima may come down as a failure. Do you know what I mean? In
Hey,
the end, you know,
I don't think it's a failure. I just think his he needs someone to rein him in.
he
I
needs
think
better
he has
guardrails.
he
Yeah,
has he has broad vision and someone needs to narrow it for him.
yeah,
And hey, I say with love, okay? I support the guy. I mean, I went to Chicago this year and sat through an orchestra playing his music.
yeah. You did.
I'm wearing the shirt, right there. I
Fabulous
support it.
Bliss.
I love Death Stranding. It's
Um,
great, but hmm.
but let's talk about MGS4 then. So
Okay. So now, since we're done with the past, we can go
all the
to
way
the
to the
future.
future again. Somewhat.
Well,
How many years is it after Metal Gear Solid 2?
okay. So Metal Gear Solid 2 ended around 2009. And then Metal Gear Solid 4 takes place in 2014. So it's only like a 5-year jump. Uh, Metal Gear Solid 4, I don't know where to start. We'll start with Old Snake. So 5 years after Metal Gear Solid 2, uh, Snake is looking pretty darn old, and we are seeing the effects of genetic manipulation. He's getting old. He's going to die of old age.
Yep.
Man, I don't want to spoil Metal Gear Solid 4 because you'll be able to play it this August for the first time.
We don't have to completely spoil it, but we definitely need to speak about how the importance of it at this point. Because so he's trying to find the body of Big Boss so he can stop his aging, basically. Uh,
Um,
as
kind of.
it's part
He's
of it.
trying to stop Liquid from doing it, or
Yeah,
Liquid Ocelot.
Liquid Ocelot at this point because
So
he's grafted that arm onto himself.
so in 2014 world,
Yeah.
it is now war has become a business. War is now an economy. Nations, small groups and nations go to war over land, resources, and it's all being controlled by a system that you can make bets on. You can hey, like stock prices almost. War's a business now,
Yeah.
and you now have all these competing private military corporations. There's like in the game, I think there's about 4 or 5 of them, major corporate private militaries that you can contract to fight for you, and they all got like nano machines in them. Everything's tracked.
Mm-hmm.
Weapons are controlled. They got chips in them.
Yep.
Only the PMCs can use their chipped weapons.
Yep.
It's a very controlled war economy.
Mm-hmm.
It is an evolution of the system that controls the world government. The Patriots now have a system that controls war.
Yes.
Uh,
So
lit,
basically the Patriots, like the culmination of what the Patriots like have been
yes.
working on has essentially become this point in the world. So,
The inciting incident for this one is um, Snake go now known as Old Snake. He goes to a war zone in Afghanistan, I believe, and there he is hunting for Liquid Ocelot. Basically, it's Ocelot who is acting like Liquid Snake because of his arm, or he's pretending. Who knows? And he's there to kill Liquid,
mm-hmm.
and Liquid is able to hack the world, hack the system. He has the ability to hack the the um, the system that controls all the PMCs, that controls the world government. He can hack the Patriots.
Yes.
I'm
So you just basically need to stop him. They do a lot of wrap up in this tie-in stuff with a whole bunch of like story beats, like what I mentioned with Eve, like in from Metal Gear Solid 3. They just kind of talk a bit about her. Meryl comes back with her own unit, and they're pretty much like they're so beaten down from all the struggle, from constantly fighting. They're also like another, they're basically a merc unit at this time, right?
oh yeah, Rat
Uh,
Patrol.
yeah, and then you have the the four women. What are they exactly? I can't remember what they're called. There's an
The Beauty
octopus.
and the Beast unit.
Okay, the Beauty and the
They
Beast.
are modeled after previous villains we fought.
Yeah.
They you have So
Uh,
it's an emotion tied to an animal. So you have Screaming Raven.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the octopus one?
I don't remember, but we don't need to go over it exactly. There's an octopus, there's a
Praying
mantis.
mantis.
Yeah, praying
Uh,
mantis. Laughing
yes, laughing octopus.
laughing
That's right.
octopus.
Yep.
And wasn't the last one like fear or anger or something? I don't remember.
Mhm.
Um, but anyways, so yeah, that's another unit that's being sold out essentially, right? Like,
So each one of them belongs to one of the PMCs, and they are designed. The backstory of them is they are women who have suffered some type of atrocity on a battlefield, and then they closed themselves off and got mechanized and became those type of things. But
mm-hmm.
then it's discovered later that that entire unit was being controlled by the remnant of Psycho Mantis, who happens to be a doll that
Oh
Laughing
yeah,
Octopus has.
that's right. That's right.
Very this gets way too close to Doctor Who writing, where there's a lot of wimmily wammily kind of stuff going
Yeah,
on,
yeah, stuff you have to just
and
kind of set aside your belief to believe, like these
it's a
organic Metal Gears.
yeah. Oh, the geckos,
Yeah, the
yeah,
geckos.
the cows, yeah. Um, I like it, but I don't recommend it because this is like just fun slop. And I think all the other games have better stories and all the other games have like make more sense. When we get to this, like I have no idea where you go from here. Like where do you go in the timeline after this game?
There's
I
a
just go
lot.
back.
There's a lot of weird stuff that happens, and the only thing that comes out of this is Raiden, Revengeance, and Revengeance is just basically a little bit of Raiden stuff that's going on, and that's a whole bunch of wacky things that I don't know anything about. I haven't played it, nor have I
Oh,
seen the game.
it's a great platinum game. I mean, you know, like platinum games, they made a great game out of it. Uh, um, I don't know if there's really a story. There's just a lot of memes you can get out of Metal Gear
There was
Rising,
just a bunch of
Revengeance.
stuff that kind of came with it.
It's Nano Machine, son.
But yeah, also speaking of, you have the like the stuff that goes on with Jack and Rose also wraps up in this game. Um Jack's like the whole cyborg ninja project that is Jack, like that Jack goes into, that all gets clarified, like how that program is going and that he's like the guy, for it now. The Vamp shows back up in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yep.
um, you have what else?
There's a lot of things like Mei Ling shows up.
Oh
Mei
yeah.
Ling's now like she's like a naval captain now.
hmm
Uh,
Campbell shows up as well in a
yeah,
wheelchair.
he's got a fake marriage to Rose.
Yeah, he shows up in a wheelchair, and that's like,
Sonny,
yeah.
Olga's kid,
Yeah,
Sonny.
Olga's kid shows up. That reference comes back. Like, it's just a whole bunch of big tie-in stuff. There isn't a lot of like new things for MGS4 that kind of come into play. Um with
It's,
with this
it's like
game, you know.
yeah, it's like how Star Wars Episode 9 tried to wrap everything up. It just got kind of whoa, okay. And that's kind of what like MGS4 does. It tries to wrap up the series. I mean, thank goodness we got MGS5 later. Um, but I mean, definitely play this after you're done with the original trilogy, just to see like how the fanfare was on the PS3, like how it was. And
Yeah.
and I think in August, this will be a good game to play with some modern controls and stuff when
Mm,
it comes out for the PS4 and 5 in August.
yeah. They did take advantage of the haptic uh
Hmm.
uh triggers, right? For the new version.
They did.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'd be interested to give it a go. I'd rather play it on a newer system because less load times, that's for sure. Um,
This has never been ported
the
off the
PS3.
PS3. It's never been ported.
Yep. So it'll be its first time away from this old console, and see, it was originally the only way to play it. So, um, but I guess I don't want to spoil the end of 4 because it's the end of the entire Metal Gear timeline at that point, and I
Yes.
don't really want to like ruin any of that. Um, but you know, the Patriots, the stuff with who they are and all that stuff gets concluded in this too. Liquid Ocelot gets concluded in this. All sorts of really good stuff kind of comes out of it story wise for things that are you're just kind of like, yeah, all right, this is the wrap up, you know, and it feels like the end of the series in my opinion. Um,
I would also throw out, not going to talk about the story, but Metal Gear Acid 1 and 2 on the PSP. Sad to see that they're not part of the MGS collection. It would be nice to have a port of those games. Too
yeah,
bad they're lost on the PSP.
yeah,
But those are very fun, tactical card games with Metal Gear Solid characters, and they even have stories with them that are I like.
yeah, very
They
exciting.
have my they have my favorite psychic character. Her name is Alice,
Alice.
and it's kind of neat. So like in the Acid series, you work for the FBI. So like Jack worked for the CIA.
Uh-huh.
Um, uh,
I'm gonna pull up acid
and
really quick.
Solid Snake worked for the military. Um, and then in Metal Gear Acid, you work for the FBI.
Look at that artwork.
Oh, it's great artwork. It's really good. I just started playing the first game again. Um,
Yeah,
I've got like a couple PSPs here. I love the PSP.
I gotta play through acid. I've played a little bit of the
Acid's great.
first one. I have not played the second one at all. So I look forward to jumping in them one of these days. So
Acid 2 is like amazing art style. They were like, you know what? We're on the portable. We don't need to look like Metal Gear Solid. This is a sequel. Let's just look like some psychedelic trip. It's going to be great. Let's just go all in
yeah,
on the cell shaded.
2 goes really far,
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
but no, Acid, first game, it's another alternative history. Instead of Snake, you play as Snake, but instead of Metal Gear Solid taking place, instead of Shadow Moses and all that, he gets pulled out of retirement because um, they're asking for him, I guess.
Who
It's
doesn't?
really sad though, because he'd be like, since this game takes place in like 2016, and like his last mission was in like 1995. Like he almost got 20 years of retirement
Yeah, yeah.
before they pulled him out. Yeah,
They can't keep
they
him.
pulled.
Can't keep him in.
So this one is modeled after the story's modeled after 24. So in the show 24, you have Jack Bauer. He's trying to like stop terrorists, and like each episode's like an hour. Um, and a lot of times in those episodes, when you watch 24, you'll have scenes happening somewhere else in real time.
Uh huh.
Uh, in this story, there is stuff happening playing while you're doing stuff on this island. You're on the, believe it's called Lobito Island,
Oh,
but
okay.
you're on this island figuring out what this research facility does. And then there's terrorists that took over a plane, and so you're also following these characters on a plane as they deal with what's going on up there, and it's all happening at the same time. So it just kind of reminds me of 24.
Hmm.
And then there's another character that you kind of follow, Teleco. I think her code name is a Monarch or some type of butterfly, and she's another FBI agent on the island, and you follow her sometimes as well.
Huh. I cool. I have to check out Acid. It looks like fun. And
Yep,
keep in mind, if anybody's thinking about it, every single Metal Gear game can be suggested for any one of our categories, basically. Uh, so, you know, there's that. We can always make a suggestion and start getting more Metal Gear on that list. Uh, so I guess
those
that
fat.
kind of wraps up everything that we've had to discuss.
Favorite Metal Gear game? If you, oh no, wait, I'll make it easier. Top three Metal Gear games. Go.
Top 3: Metal Gear Solid
Top three.
3, Metal Gear Solid 2, and then I would definitely pick Twin Snakes for my third one.
Okay. Um, Peace Walker first. Metal
Okay.
Gear Solid 3 second, and the original Metal Gear Solid for third.
All right. The original one. I knew you
I
were gonna
think
pick Peace Walker. I didn't put Peace
Peace
Walker on your
Walker
little
is
list.
amazing. I I imported Peace Walker because your PSP is not region locked, so you can import games. Another reason why the PSP is the best handheld ever. I imported it and played it in Japanese. And then when it actually came out in English, I got it again. I played
Hey,
it twice.
you figured it out, right? Like what?
And when it comes out in the MGS collection this August, I'll play it a
You're
third
gonna
time.
play it again. Heck yeah! So good for you. Um, what's the worst one for you?
The
What's the
worst
what's the
Metal Gear
worst
Solid
Metal
game,
Gear Solid game?
and I can't pick Metal Gear Survive.
You can't pick Survive. I'm sorry.
Uh, I'm gonna say this is kind of a tie between Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 4.
Mm, okay, you don't like Metal Gear Solid 2 that
I
bad
don't.
that it would be at the bottom. Oh, all right,
I
that
honestly
hurts.
think that everything that I think the timeline should just stop at Metal Gear Solid and then just go to the past.
All right, I could. I see what you're saying, and I get that if you don't care for the fact that the lore really convolutes things. But I love playing Metal Gear Solid 2 more than I like the story.
Then play Metal Gear Solid 3 because it's like an evolution of that gameplay.
Yeah, that's why it's my favorite, and that's why I like Twin Snakes. Those three games
Yeah.
just feel so good to play, and I feel like four really detracts from a lot of that too. I would put four on the bottom of my list as well, actually, if I was gonna pick
Um,
like a bad one.
Metal Gear Solid 2 is
Or
pretentious, and Metal Gear Solid 4 is bloated.
yeah, it's bloated for real. And Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, I guess, would probably be my. If I had to pick two, it'd be Portable Ops or four. Um, Portable Ops and four, I guess, if I had to pick. I don't
I don't
hate
think
four, but you don't think Portable Ops counts?
I don't think it counts. Not made by Hideo.
All right, all right. So, then yeah, I guess MGS four would be on the bottom. I like Peace Walker, so I wouldn't call where my cutoff would be at the bottom. But if I had to pick a fourth game in my top four, Peace Walker would be my fourth one. So
Uh, Top four. If I had a fourth game, I think I would slip in Metal Gear Solid 5
you
because
would
that
put five
gameplay
there.
is amazing. Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain.
It
The
does,
gameplay
yeah,
is so good.
yeah, it does feel good
It's
to
it's
play.
Hitman for Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, I think if I counted Ground Zeroes as a separate game, which I do, I would put Ground Zeroes just above four then. But only because like I feel like Ground Zeroes was just kind of like a taste of five, and then five like really showed you what everything they were working on was. So, anyways, it has been a long podcast. I think we need to call it a wrap there. Um,
All right.
Thank you everybody for watching who did tuned in. Anybody who did see this after the show, we appreciate you. Thank you for giving it a listen. You can join the O.V.G.C podcast on Discord. You can also find I have a Facebook group that I made with links to the Discord if you're looking to join. If you wanted to join the Discord and you're viewing this on YouTube, just send me a message and I'll send you a Discord link invite. Um, I am going to be opening the voting for this next month after what is it? June. Oh goodness. Starting probably this. Oh my gosh. If well, actually, I'm gonna open up voting here either tonight or tomorrow. For the next month because we have three games to pick for next month. We're gonna have our next quarterly, we're gonna have our next bi-monthly, and we're gonna have our next monthly game all brought in. So we got three votes to get on. So we might as well get a head start on suggestions. So I'm gonna open up suggestions tonight or tomorrow. Um, for everybody to start with. Yeah, if you haven't played any of our games that's we have right now, it's Half-Life 2, Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars, and Mega Man Zero. So if you want to join in the discussion for our next podcast, which will be at the end of the month, that'll be announced soon. I got to discuss that with SD Convoy, and we will talk about them. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Go out there and figure out who are the Patriots. That's it
The
for me.
lolly who lay low.
Have a good night.
Good night.